Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to another session of Pastor Doug's virtual VIP midweek Bible study. We didn't do one last week, did we?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you just kind of took off. That's
I
kind of
did.
what you did.
I did. I left.
Did you leave early?
I left you hanging.
Yeah, you really did. And
Well,
I was kind of scrambling to take care of business.
they
And
want to
everything.
hear from you anyway, so I'm just your sidekick.
I didn't do it. We missed you last week. Sorry about that. I had lots of stuff going on. As you know, we had a funeral of one of our own from Faith, and Herm Klauser passed away, and it kind of overwhelmed me with things to do, and I didn't get around to it, so I'm sorry. And then this guy takes off, so what are you going to do? And he's gone, no excuse. Can't make any excuse for that. Oh, you went to see your grandkids, so that's a big deal. I don't blame you. I don't blame you there. You probably like to see them. Not sure how they feel about you.
They still love me.
Do they?
Yeah, thankfully.
That's good.
We'll see when they get older.
Hopefully that doesn't change, guys. We've been in this campaign, Created to Dream, and I've really been enjoying it. And one of the things that hit me is, as I think sometimes as we age, we kind of think that maybe we don't dream anymore, and we don't have really any ambitions anymore. What this is telling me and showing me in this study is that I don't care how old you are as a Christian, you should have some thoughts and ambitions for growth in your spiritual life, in your ministry, and how you reach people. I mean, there's never a point where you say, okay, I'm going to put this in neutral and I'm going to ride the wagon of the church that's going along and just kind of fly along. There's always something to do. There's always something that God has for you, and especially mature people and mature Christians, you have so much experience to share. And this week we talked about being persistent in your faith. And I think the word persistence and faith kind of go together a little bit because, you have to be strong in your will to continue and be part of it. I want Doug to read the primary scripture for this week from Hebrews 12, verses 1. I want you to hear this.
Let us run the race that is before us and never give up. We should remove from our lives anything that would get in the way and the sin that so easily holds us back.
Pretty simple, pretty easy to understand. When we're trying to persist in our faith, we got to do certain things that allow us to do that. And we're going to go through the 4 things that I listed this week just to kind of talk about them a little bit more in detail maybe. But the first one is remove all distractions. And I hope you understand really the meaning behind all that, because for me, I think, Doug, I really think this is the method that the devil uses on me. Now, my whole life, my whole ministry, it's been this. I have this lifelong commitment to God. I just learned it at a young age, and that established routines and patterns in my life to kind of keep me away from the things that may be distracting or may be sinful or whatever. And I just don't go there. But what I've learned is that the devil uses this distraction or depression or things like that on me to kind of get at me.
Agreed. And even good things. Our busy lives, we're so overscheduled, overcommitted, that sometimes things fall through the cracks. Now, we can be really busy doing good things, doing good, godly things for other people, but still being sort of caught up in the doing instead of living the godly life. And by that, I mean we're so distracted and busy doing other things that we're not really being intentional about our Christian life. We're just sort of going with the flow because there's so many things to do. So, as the scripture just said, to take some of the things out of our lives, something that would get in the way, sometimes a good thing can get in the way.
For sure. And I think I mentioned that too a little bit, kind of on the light side. I don't want to offend anybody here, but if you think about it, think about the reasons that cause you to miss your Sunday church. And maybe let's just do this real quickly. What do you value in your Christian life? I really value, maybe as a pastor it matters, but I value Sunday. Sunday services is a big deal to me. It's a big moment. It's a time where everybody's there and we're together and everybody's gathered. My small group time on Wednesday nights is a big deal to me. That's when my group is gathered and could be 15, it could be 25 people. we're gathered together. We're in a small room. We have a chance to talk and visit, and handshakes and everything, and hugs afterwards. My prayer time is a big deal to me. My communication with God is a big deal to me. And so when you put emphasis on those things that they really matter, my question is, what could get in the way of those times? What could get in the way of your Sunday attendance? What recreation thing? Well, for me, for example, let's say every other Sunday during hunting season, I took off and went hunting. Yeah, it's a great thing, a great recreation. I enjoy it. It's legal. It's fun. However, is that best for me in my spiritual life in the long run? Hunting might be good. However, is it best for me? And so I see stuff like this all the time. And I just wonder, do we evaluate what growth we might have missed?
Sure. And for people who work really hard,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, Sunday is my only morning to sleep in and catch up on some sleep. Well, there's a busy schedule that's out of whack. Your priorities are out of whack when your life is so busy that you can't spend that hour. You can't get up in the morning, or you're choosing not to get up to come worship God. And I think also, it just sort of came into my head now. I'm not a big fan of New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. I don't really think about starting over in that way, but I do think of Sundays that way. Sunday is the beginning of the week for me in one aspect, in that I come and I get regenerated. No, energized. That's the word. Excuse me. I'm getting energized for the week. I hear some scripture that's encouraging. I get encouragement from the pastor up front. You get to spend time with our fellow Christians here worshiping and sharing. And all of a sudden, my batteries are charged where I can get through the week a little better now. If I didn't come to church, like, okay, well, I missed church. And my week suffers because of it.
I think whatever the distraction might be, it can be. I can remember I did a study a couple of years ago, several years ago, in fact, that Rick Warren did. He was talking about the timing of our lives and controlling our own time. And one of the things that really struck me, he said, if you want to add something, like you're trying to get somebody to come to a small group, you want to add that to the agenda, they need to drop something from the agenda. See, we keep adding and adding and adding, and then we're just kind of running around like crazy, where we need to drop something. If I'm going to do this small group, this midweek study, then maybe I don't go exercise on that day, or I don't go do something on that day that I normally would do, or I take my 45-minute leisurely afternoon nap. Well, I'm not going to do that today because I'm going to do something. Whatever that might be, I think it's really important that we take a look at that and consider what we're doing. The next thing too that we stop is we remember the reward. To me, I don't know if most people realize the rewards of heaven. I think about this. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I don't lose sleep over it. I don't, set my plans based on that, or I don't try to do things that I think are going to be rewarded. But I realize there is a reward. There's a great reward. For example, like Herm Klauser, he's getting his rewards right now. As we speak, Herm is being rewarded for the life that he lived.
I had a thought the other day at Herm's service, and that's always my first question when I hear about someone passing. Were they a Christian? And okay, well, we know where they are, and they're in a good place. But I was having this thought that just hit me with Herm. Like, imagine the sights he's seeing right now, things that we can probably not even imagine in our minds, that he's actually there, living, experiencing, and seeing the glory of God and the wonder of heaven. That's just amazing.
Well, and we hear about it, and the reality of it actually happening and you experiencing it's got to be a special thing. Let's go to the third point. The third point is, I can't see it there, is resist all discouragement. Wow. I wish I could do better at that. That's the one that just continue to trip me up. And I look at my life, and my life has been so blessed. You can follow my life history from when I was a kid. God has just really been good to me and kind to me. And when I look at it as a whole, but when it's just the small things that trip me up. Doug, you've been around me long enough, and you see it happen, and you wonder, and I wish I could avoid it, but it might be just the nature of my personality or whatever it is. And I want everything to go perfectly, and when it doesn't, it bothers me.
Yeah. And there's this unwritten formula that it takes 10 good things to make up for one aw shucks. Like, oh man, I messed that up. And why is it that our minds always remember that one thing that we messed up and not the 10 really good things that we did?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's part of being humble, that you don't want to focus on the good things, that they just did those. But that thing that you tripped up on or made a mistake over, that sticks in your brain. Of course, you don't want to do it again, but that's some place where the devil can attack you. That one mistake.
And he finds out.
He
He
does.
realizes and he keeps notes on you. This is how I defeat you. This is how I slow you. This is how I make you ineffective in your ministry or helping other people. If you look at the Bible in here somewhere, we have Hebrews 12:2, which continues on to that first scripture that we read. Doug, read Hebrews 12:2. Listen to the words of this.
Let us keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, on whom our faith depends from beginning to end.
So that's what we got to do. That your focus needs to be on Christ and what he has done and how he's done it. And if you can do that, if you can keep that focus no matter what the circumstances, no matter what's going on, it can help you with the discouragement that comes in life, because there's lots of it. I mean, look in the mirror. When you want to get discouraged, look in the mirror. Think about how you feel. I don't know about you, but I look in there. You remember how Fonzie used to go like this with it? He'd go, hey, not me anymore. I
No,
go, oh my goodness. Somebody said to me this morning, in a nice way, he goes, oh, what's going on? I said, I don't know. Something's growing right there. I don't know what it is. What are you supposed to say?
the mirror. I see myself right now go, oh my goodness.
That's what I was thinking. I was looking at you thinking, oh my goodness. I remember you when you were young. What happened?
I got old.
Let's look at point number 4. What's the last one you got there? Renew myself daily. Guys, this is so big. This is such a big one. Renew myself daily. Right now, ask yourself, and I'm going to ask you, Doug, what do you do to renew yourself daily? Do you do that?
I never really thought of it in those exact terms, but yes, when I get up in the morning and before I even get out of bed, I open my eyes and I pray. First of all, thank God for another day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pass away in my sleep. And I look for the opportunities. All right, God, what have you got for me today? And I always include the armor of God. I want to put on that full armor of God to protect me from the devil and the spiritual battle that is going on constantly.
For you, it's about you. Mm-hmm. I think that's such a big deal. I have developed in my life this such a comforting development that God's with me all the time. So when I lay my head down at night, and actually I sit up first, I sit in the bed before, but anyway, when I sit my head up first in the beginning to try to rest, I just feel like God's with me. Just watch me tonight. I usually try to reevaluate the day, thank him for the blessings, ask him for the help with the concerns, but then rest. And in the morning, I just feel like God's always there, always with me, always a part of my life. And for me, that has just been so comforting and so rewarding, just to realize that, he's with us. Guys, this isn't rocket science. This is not that difficult. God is always there, always able to handle you, always able to take care of you if you let him. It's so much fun talking to you again. God bless you. Thanks for being a part. I hope you'll be there Sunday to catch the one of the few messages we have left in Created a Dream. God bless you and have a great week.